Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and this is my tips and tricks guide for Janemba. So as always in these style of guides, I'll be covering a lot of basic stuff, just how some of the moves work, all that kind of stuff, and we'll be going on to more intermediate and advanced stuff, going over set play and all that kind of stuff. There will be timestamps in the video description if you want to skip around, and right now we'll just start with the basic stuff, the move list. So here we'll be going over all the basic moves except for the teleport. The teleport's going to get its own section because it's really special and absolutely the defining trait of the character. But to start off the move list here, let's talk about the Demonic Blade. That's this guy right here. It's a quarter circle forward, light, medium, heavy. And it's just a really solid screen control move here. As you can see here, it hits from roughly this far away. Maybe a little bit closer. There we go. So it has the range. And it is arrow K, so we can use it in the air. And you can kind of think of this move as a very elongated poke. And what I mean by that is you can toss this out, and as long as you're level with them, because if you toss it up here and they're below you, if you're on the ground, they're way above you, then there's no real gain, and they can probably just homing dash in on you. But as long as you're level with them, it's eminently safe to toss out, and there's not really much they can do about it. Also keep in mind, too, the medium version is a wall bounce, which full screen, you can combo off with your standing S attacks here. Timing can be a little tricky at points here, but you can get it. It's a follow-upable move here, and the EX version is another move here with a wall bounce, and the wall bounce is a little better, so you can actually get your combos mid-screen. In the corner, you'll get combos with medium, or like slight little follow-ups with your key blast mid-screen, but anywhere on the screen with the EX version, you can always get a full combo conversion. So it's up to you if it's worth the bar on that one or not. There's a lot of ways, by the way, in the corner to get the medium version comboable. So you can do something like this. Use your key blast to keep them level, and then hit the medium sword and combo afterwards. Check the companion combo guide if you want to see that kind of stuff. Now, next up here, we have the Mystical Arm. This quarter circle back, light, medium, heavy, and this is a true command grab. So if we set the enemy to block all of our moves, as you can see here, so they're going to block everything we're going to do here, they still get got by this. Now, as you can see here, the light version just knocks them down. The medium version is a little bit of a bounce, but we can't really follow up too much. And the EX version has a much greater bounce, and we can reach from it anywhere on the screen. So you can combo after the medium one in the corner, and the EX one anywhere on the screen. Now keep in mind, the light version, while you don't get big follow-ups, at the very least, you can always get a super afterwards. So you're not going to get a big combo, but you can always convert into a little bit of extra damage. So all three versions are valuable. So our next move on the list here is the Shadow Kick. That's down, medium, in the air. No big complicated motion, nothing like that. Just down and medium. And it will track the enemy wherever they are. So say the enemy is like super high up in the air, something like that. Still tracks them just fine. Now the tracking's not perfect. If they're moving very far, very fast and all that, it's not going to be able to nab them very easily, right? So don't rely too much on that. But what it is one of your best combo enders to be sure. You can do a big combo and just kind of go from there and do whatever you want, and you can always be assured 9 times out of 10, unless your hit stun decay is very, very high, that your down medium will do its job and you'll get your knockdown. The only question is, if you are far away, you probably want to go for your pillar super, and if you're closer, then you'll want to go for your sword super. It really depends on the move you do before the down medium, where they'll land, and of course in the corner, it always works out, you always be beside them. But yeah, great move for corner stuff, and not bad for some gimmick stuff as well. So our next move here is the Hellgate. It's a quarter circle backlight, medium or heavy, in the air only, and he shoots a little bit of a projectile. Now I know it doesn't look that impressive, to be sure. It's not a big old blast, but there is some stuff to it. The projectile, you can detonate whenever you press the button. So if you shot it with, say we're using the light version right now, whenever you press light, it'll come out and explode at that point, as you can see here. So that is a very handy tool to have, because you can control it basically whenever it happens. Also, keep in mind, if you do it in the corner, it'll always explode when it touches the corner. So that's actually very useful for corner setups, just so you know. But yeah, you have complete control over when the explosion happens. It will detonate after a while by itself. As you can see there, I didn't touch anything. It will detonate after a while, but otherwise you have complete control. Now keep in mind too here, so if I do this and I mash M, my M move is kind of locked out until the detonation. So if you're trying to do, like, say, light, and you did the light version, keep in mind your light version, the first light you press will actually be the detonate. Now, say you shoot the light version here and you hit M, yeah, it works fine, right? You detonate just fine. But yeah, it's a really, really, really strong pressure tool. Now, do keep in mind if the enemy is inclined to do like beams or something like that here, the beam will knock it off the face of the earth, as you can see. It will trade with other fireballs, usually not so much in your favor because, you know, it takes a while to get that out of the air, right? But in the corner especially, I can't stress this enough, it is a fantastically amazing and strong pressure tool. Now, the dimensional hole is an odd move here. That is down, down, S. That's the key blast button here. And when he does this, as he absorbs projectiles, and he'll spit it back at the enemy. Now, it doesn't happen at the fastest rate, and as you can see here, it doesn't happen on frame 1 either. You can be counter hit out of it. But it's interesting, because the one thing about this here is if he successfully does counter the projectile, while he's in his little state here, while he's kind of like gloating, if you want to put it for lack of a better term, laughing, he is full invincible. It's not that the moves won't hit him, but they'll just bounce off him, like kind of like an armored state, right? So if you do manage to successfully get this off, he'll just laugh and laugh and laugh till the projectile comes. That said, you are kind of vulnerable while it's happening. The enemy can still move and stuff, right? They have still full faculty of their movement here. So Kid Buu could jump up and all that, just jump past Fireball, then homing dash on the way down, stuff like that. So in my opinion, the use of this move is mildly limited, but not to say it's useless. Because it can definitely throw someone for a loop, especially if they're just kind of doing very obvious pressure. So don't forget the move exists, but yeah, it is a little bit of an odd duck to be sure. Once again, we have the Phantom Shift here. That's going to get its own section here, so let's just move on to the supers. So first up, we have the Rakshasa Claw, and I'm pretty sure I always say that wrong, but that is your level 1 sword super, this guy right here. So between the 2 level 1 supers at high level scaling, meaning you do a very big combo and you just, you know, do all your stuff here. At high level scaling, this will do more damage than the other super. So if you're purely looking for damage, this is the more damaging of the 2 level 1 supers in a combo. Now that said here, we have Savage Skewer. And this one's got a lot more utility, although it does a little bit less in the long combo. Because even if you are very much in a corner, it'll bring you all the way to the other corner no matter what. It always corners the foe. So there's a lot of utility of when you do this move, you know for a fact that you will always now have the corner versus your enemy. Now, you're not in their face. They got a little bit of wiggle room to be sure. Otherwise, it'd just be completely busted. But for a level 1, that utility is way stronger than most level 1s. Most level 1s, you do your damage, you cash out, you're done, right? The fact that you can always be assured this will put you in an advantageous position versus the enemy and they'll always be in the corner makes this a fantastic move. His level 3 is Needle Light Shower. And this guy, like many level 3s, it is full invincible. Has a neat little animation. Actually, really sick animation. I like it a lot. And it is Arrow K, and that will come to play in a later section in the video. The fact that it is Arrow K, because we can do some little tricks with it. But yeah, very decent level 3. The fact it's Arrow K definitely ups its utility, to be sure. And we'll talk about that more later in the video. So for every character, and I feel like every DLC character since Dragon Ball FighterZ has come out, one of the biggest questions is, what's the assist, right? And for Janemba, his assist is serviceable. So as you can see here, he'll stick his hand in a little dimensional portal and it'll shoot. Now the one thing to note that's very valuable about this is it tracks. And when I mean it tracks, I mean, yo, it tracks. Like as you can see there, it's all the way up in the sky, right? So it is the only other assist besides Gotenks that will track the enemy all the way to the top of the skybox and of course anywhere they are on screen. Now about this projectile, it's a weak projectile. As you can see here, it's not a physical hit, so that means it is reflectable. You can homing dash through it, all that stuff. So as a lockdown assist, it is effectively not a thing. It is not a thing as a lockdown assist at all because it doesn't even at least have like the multiple hits like a Vegeta assist would, right? But as a combo assist, it's one of the best combo assists in the game. So it's going to be up to you. I don't know every possible permutation myself, right? But it's going to be up to you to figure out all of the crazy ways you can make this work here. Because once again, the fact that you can combo all the way up there means you can get all sorts of crazy stuff going. And like stuff like, you know, just you call them, and once you're up in the skybox, you can Dragon Rush after the hit happens, that kind of stuff. And all sorts of crazy points in between. So as a utility assist, it is poor, but as a combo assist, it's going to be top tier to be sure. Alright, and now let's talk the teleport, the Phantom Shift, this guy right here. So this is a very big part of his move list, to say the least here, and one of the, if not the most defining trait of his character, to be honest with you. There's a lot going on here for what it is. So first and foremost here, yeah, you can teleport forward, you can teleport backwards, and if that was it, it wouldn't be that special. You actually have 8-way control, so up, down, left, right, and all points in between, right? So just to show you, here's the basic teleport forward, but I can also teleport right in front of you, right? Or, you know, I can teleport above you, or behind myself, you know, that kind of stuff, right? So the 8 directions, up, down, left, right, and all the diagonals, you'd have total control. So I can go straight down, down forward, straight up, that kind of stuff. You have full control over how this move works, and that's a very big part of it. And now another big part of it is also how it works in combo structure. So let's use our auto combo as an example. So he does have a side switching auto combo, right? And you're like, oh no, that sucks, right? Except we can use the teleport to keep the same side. So basic combo to be sure, but you get an idea right there, right? So we switched over with the teleport, and now we remained on the same side we were originally. Now, of course, you could want to switch sides, right? That's totally a thing, right? But just to give you an idea, so now just show you as well for a more advanced, a more basic combo structure, but you know, something like this, right? So this is usually the kind of combo you do your homing dash and all kind of fun stuff, right? So we don't have to use the homing dash in that combo. As you can see right there. So once again, these are basic combos I'm doing, but just to show you. So I teleport it up and forward to meet the enemy as they're bouncing back from me after the air down H, and I can combo from there. And since we didn't homing, one, we have our homing still, so we can use it later for a combo, especially have an assist or something to use. And keep in mind too, the homing dash does use up your combo scaling, right? It's a low damaging hit, you know, less than a jab even, right? So depending on your combo, what you're doing, we save that hit, so we're not one hit further in hit scaling, so combo routes can use that accordingly, right? Especially for assist level combos. But since we didn't do it, because the teleport is not a hit, right? We can just go right to our next hit. We don't have to worry about this stealing one of our hits for damage purposes, for damage scaling and combo scaling purposes, right? So it can save you in a lot of regards, other than just, hey, it looks cool. Now, after all that, I bet you are wondering, well, can't you just like teleport above them and behind them and try to cross them up? Hey, well, you're a smart cookie, because that's exactly what you can do. And there's a lot of stuff we can do with that in mind. So if you do like a basic block string here, you can absolutely cancel and do a teleport and get behind them, right? Now, one of the downsides of this method, which is still fine enough, keep in mind, especially if the proper assist to back you up, right, is you don't really have much in the way of air control. You can only air control like at the very end of the fall there. Now, if you were doing, say, an aerial version, you can air control right away, right? You can air dash, homing, whatever. Air dash being the more applicable option here, because then, you know, if you were in the air, you could do something like, oh, hey, look at this, and then cross you up and hit you on the other side, right? But on the grounded version, it doesn't quite work that way. You still get the left-right cross-up, but other than that, not so much. So now there is a method in a block string to actually be able to get the aerial version of the teleport here while you're still grounded. There's a trick to it, so let's get right to it. Now, the first method here is jump installing. Now, if you're a long-time fan of the channel, you probably remember a video of this quite some time ago, but suffice to say, it's kind of tricky, but here's how it works. So when you're starting your combo here, and you know it's going to be blocked, right? That's the kind of idea, is you understand this is going to almost certainly be blocked, but you're okay with it, and we're doing this for the potential of a better teleport that can have a cross-up potential, like double cross-up potential even. So for the purposes of this, we're going to assume you're going to use stand jab as your starter. And once again, we're going to assume you are getting blocked, so we can go for this multi-layer mix-up. And what you have to do is hit up and jab at the same time. So what this does, and see, you can screw it up and you'll get that instead, right? But what this does is it basically loads up your string now with the jump property, and the next move that is jump OK will use the jump property instead of the base property, and that would be the teleport, right? So it'll look something like this. And doing it that way, the teleport has now gained the jump property, and we can air dash right away. Of course, you know, you don't have to air dash. You can stay same side and cross up, all that kind of fun stuff, right? Just to give you an idea. So that's one way to do it. Once again, whatever button you're going to start your string with, we use light as our example, but just hit that button and up at the same time, and the jump will be, quote-unquote, installed into the rest of the string, and the first opportunity can be used, it'll work, and then all of a sudden you'll have a grounded teleport into the air that can air dash right away. And yes, it is tricky, and yes, you'll have to practice it, but hey, now you know. Now, I do want to talk about the basic Ki Blast. Obviously, by itself, as you can tell, hey, it's different, right? It certainly doesn't work like how everyone else in the game works. But there's more to it than just that. So first up and foremost, if you are on the ground, if you do down S here, that actually does leave you airborne. And it is comboable with the standard S combo, so you can do something like this into this, just so you know. Now, also, while you're airborne, after that airborne hit, since we did come off the teleport section, it does give you the teleport with the ability to dash right away because it is airborne. But there's more there, so let's just do 1S. Okay. Alright. Okay. What? Now why is it coming out of this way? Why is it coming this way? Why is it coming this way? Because we have full control over it. So the directions you hold actually totally matters in what direction this shot will come. It can come from any of the 4 directions here. So up left, up right, down left, or down right. And you have full control over it. So if you're holding down right, you get there. If you hold down left, you get that way. And so on and so forth. So a regular one will be up left. And if you hold forward, it'll be up right. And this actually matters for certain combos. So say normally I want to do like something like this here. I'm never going to get the homing dash follow-up, right? But if I do something like this, all of a sudden I can, right? Since I have the Ki Blast coming from the opposite direction, and it'll push them back towards me versus the standard version just pushing them away. And the air direction can give you a lot of utility on just where in the air the hand will pop up. So there's going to be a lot more. Honestly, I don't know about this because I know of that basic combo example I showed you there. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out over time that'll just kind of really change how combo structure works, how certain setups work, with just how the direction really matters when you smack them, because it can lead to a lot of fun stuff. Also, let's just talk about how it works as Ki Blast itself. So like all basic Ki Blasts, the enemy while blocking can reflect the can homing dash right. But due to the unique nature of your moves, you actually can punish them just a little bit. So say you're doing this here, and you're just waiting for them to do the homing dash. As soon as you see it, hey, you can just smack them with a sword, right? It's literally that easy. Now, obviously, there's some reaction times right there. See, I was a bit slow, right? The light sword, as far as I can tell, starts up a little bit faster than the medium sword, so light sword would be a lot more applicable in these situations here. But yeah, you can just literally hold the button, enter your quarter circle forward motion, and hit light while you're holding the button, assuming you're playing on a standard pad. And it's literally that easy. Once again, got a counter hit there. You do got to be a bit quick. Now, where you don't have to be a bit quick is this kind of situation, where it's the exact same situation, and you got 3 bars. And if you got 3 bars, I think you know where I'm going with this. You can just level 3 them, and you ain't getting counter hit out of that, right? And because his level 3 is air okay, so while you're doing this in the air and you see that homing dash coming your way, you can get them dead to rights. Because you see it, and just go right into that level 3, your invincible level 3, and just blast them out of the air for trying. And that makes this a lot more valuable, because it does have counters for homing dashes on the ground. Although once again, you gotta be a bit quick. On the ground and in the air. Once again, this is probably most applicable when you have the level 3, because once again, the level 3 is indeed full invincible, versus, you know, Sword Blast not being full invincible. But you can just harass with this when you have 3 bars, and all you have to do is just visually wait and confirm for that homing, and as soon as you see it, you just go right for your level 3 and smoke them. Now it's time for some dirty tricks. So we went over in the Ki Blast section how he has control over what directions he hits, right? So these can be, you know, on the diagonals here, bottom right, bottom left, top right, top left, all that kind of fun stuff, right? And say we have the enemy in the corner here, and we want to do either one that is going to be bottom right or top right. And hey, that pushed them out of the corner, didn't it? And if it pushed him out of the corner, that means that's a true cross-up. So here we have the dummy to set up to do the same thing to me, and I'm just going to hold back the block. And when you know it, I get smacked. Now, this is only applicable to the top right versions and bottom right versions here of the Ki Blast. If you do the ones that face the same side as you, it'll push them in the corner. And that inherently lies a mix. So basically what you want to do here is you want to do that Ki Blast, and you want to keep it as ambiguous as possible. So you want to use definitely the down version, because if it's the up version here, up left, it's very obvious, versus down one's kind of hard to see off screen here. Like as the camera moves up, it's a little harder to see. So as long as you keep it as ambiguous as possible here, that comes just kind of a downright decent mix. And of course you can call assist and all that, you know, hide stuff and make it a lot more ambiguous. But yeah, it's literally as simple as just call in your Ki Blast, make sure it's the right direction, push them out of the corner, immediately hit down M, and it'll hit them cross up left, right. And technically, I guess you could always see the bottom left version here with the corner we're facing versus the non-Ki Blast version. But man, you got so little actual time to assess that. If someone actually can assess that, I'm assuming your name's Goichi. That's all I'm going to say. For a regular person, the difference between that and this, to me, is like non-existent and nil, right? And of course, this in and of itself doesn't do a lot of damage, but they land, you can get a super, that kind of stuff. I think it's just a neat little trick to use. So if you're not aware, Janemba here, he doesn't need anybody else's help to do snapbacks. Like, he can literally do it by himself, right? And that's all well and good, and that's great in and of itself. But he can also get snapback mix-ups by himself. He doesn't need assists. Now, assists always help, to be sure, but he does not need an assist at all to create a snapback mix-up. So what I'm going to show you here is just basically how to do a left-right mix-up with Janemba. So right there, we delayed our dash under because we only jumped once, so we still keep our air dash property. And we dashed under the Hellgate projectile, and while it was exploding on them, we cross them under and we get a left-right mix. Now we can land and just go from there, and also just pressure basically if they're expecting the dash under. So if we just land, dash in, we can keep on same side. We can also dash early and then keep same side as well and punish them that way if they're expecting to look for the dash. And if we do it early, well, they'll see the dash just fine, but we will remain on same side. So basically, the dash under cross up is basically all in when you press it. So if you do it right away, you stay same side. If you do it just a little bit less than right away, like right as you're landing towards the ground, the projectile for the Hellgate will keep them in place and it'll sneak safely under them, crossing them up. Very powerful tool to be sure. Make sure you learn it. Another layer of snapback mix-up is on the ground here, just so the regular ground is snap. Now this one you will need an assist just to cover you, just to kind of keep that block stun going here. So let's just show you a basic example. So we hit down an S, or sorry, down an H, which is our big old sword thing here, and they'll hit them on their coming in. And if it actually hits them, then awesome, right? We're assuming they block it, right? But if it actually hits them, all the better yet. And we're doing our regular teleport, which will cross this up. So now, conversely, we can just do our regular teleport and hold down, and we'll remain on the same side. So it's literally a left or right there. So what you want to do is when you're hitting your down S, that's exactly when you want to call in the assist. So the assist will just keep them in block stun, which is important one, and just visual noise for 2. You will always know which side you land on, because once again, if you do a regular teleport, you're cross up. If you do teleport and hold down, you'll remain same side. And the assist is just there as noise and interference. You always have full control if you're left or right, so just use an appropriate assist, higher block stun the better, and to make sure they can reach up high enough to hit them in the air, right? And then just go with it, and that's all there is to this one, and then you just start attacking them. It's literally that simple. Once again, assist, good block stun is good, and a lot of visual noise even better. Now, Janemba also has safe jump setups and setups in general after his level 3 super. So his general safe jump is as easy gets. All you gotta do is hold up forward and land and go for it. As you can see, it hits quite meaty. So say we have Gohan here, he's going to set up to wake up with his invincible uppercut. And let's see if we have time to just block after we go for our attack. Yeah, we got all the time in the world. If we can block that, we can block any reversal, wake up level 3, that kind of fun stuff. So it's literally that easy. A lot of people have, you know, have to do something for timing or it's an instant air dash or whatever. No, for this one, just hold up forward, like I'm holding up forward right now. So it'll just come out in frame 1, right? Hold up forward, and then go for a medium, and you got plenty of time to block if they go for a reversal. That easy. Now, on top of that, say they're prone to mashing buttons or something on their wake up, right? So we knock them down, they're going to wake up and hit buttons. So the level 3 also, we have time to work with that because we can teleport, and if they're prone to mashing buttons, we can still beat them. So we did the teleport, cross up, steal the corner, and us hitting stand light beats him hitting stand light at fastest possible timing. And this is true for all the teleports. So say I want to teleport above his head. So my teleport, which I'll land above his head and go for a medium kick, it'll beat his wake up buttons. Now, that's just really good. So no matter what, you can be assured after a teleport, no matter what direction you pick, unless, you know, you try to go like very far away or something. If you go very far away, then you're not going to get much out of it, right? Unless you're trying to bait a spark, and then you can punch the spark. But your buttons are going to come out faster. You have the frame advantage even after a teleport after the level 3. So he has a lot of options and a lot of pressure potential after a level 3. So when it comes to the generalized game plan of Janemba, I think he's a good all-rounder in a lot of ways, in that he has like good control of the screen. Like the swords eat up a lot of real estate. If you're the kind of guy who just wants to run up and hit stand heavy, he's better at it than most. He's certainly not as good as like Nap or Broly, but compared to a lot of the characters, his stand heavy has more range than a lot of characters, right? And it has a very interesting hitbox as well. Also, speaking of interesting hitboxes, down H rather, very good as well. But especially say you connect with a random sword, like say you get a random medium. Hey, that's a decent little conversion. That's pretty decent, right? That's not nothing. And you can threaten that at a range, you know, has a lot quicker startup than a lot of the beams do. Just don't be too willy-nilly with it. But yeah, I guess in the end, a lot of Janemba's really good stuff is going to be his pressure and his mixes. And of course, a lot of that's on the back of a teleport, right? And with that in mind, he is absolutely going to prefer characters that have longer than average blocks, in my opinion. So an obvious one to toss with him would be Kid Buu or Go Tanks, but even a beam assist or something. Just people that can say, hey, while you're blocking, like, you know, hold on a hot second here, I got to teleport and do my thing. Or, you know, I got to, as we showed earlier in the guide here, I got to steal the corner and mix you up, that kind of stuff. Or just whatever, right? The longer an assist can hold him in block stun, the more he gets to do his greasy tricks and his greasy gimmicks, and that will work out in his favor. His pressure is fantastic, and for that you don't need no assist, to be sure. Anywhere on screen, as long as you do a basic ender, cancel in the Hellgate, and you can just run at them, just detonate your thing, and they got a groove on it, right? They have to deal with that pressure. Now, of course, you can obviously reflect it, right? But there are ways to deal with that, and especially, you know, if you want to reflect, then you can just wait for the end, Dragon Rush them, or just to do another layer mix, that kind of stuff. It's a lot to work with, and especially because if you're in the corner, it'll automatically detonate. So if they try to do anything, like there, we have it set to up-tech automatically, right? If they up-tech, it still explodes just fine. If they're on the ground, it still explodes just fine. Their one option is Wake Up Reflect, which once again we can work around. The pressure, his pressure is just really good. Now to do Hellgate pressure, you do got to sacrifice a bit of damage. Just going for like light is obviously not the optimal ender. A lot of combos can end in either down H into down M, or just down H into a lot of S attacks, then into a down M, and then you can do whatever super or whatever. But yeah, just really good. Also, that Superman, that super facilitates so much because it'll always bring you into the corner. It doesn't give you like, you know, you're in their face direct advantage like a level 3, right? But the fact that you're just always in the corner no matter where you are on the screen, I think that's very valuable, and it's a lot more than you get out of the average level 1 super, to be sure. That you always know you got lockdown beginning, right? You will always be in the advantageous position. When you're scrambling, you get whatever combo. Hey, we're always in the corner no matter what. Let's go. Now, to state the obvious stuff, yeah, he's a bigger than average character. That means the whole fuzzy stuff, that works. The whole high-low stuff that happens a lot on big characters, he is as susceptible to it as many other big characters are. And yes, he doesn't have a low heading 2L. So that's just kind of a regular old block. You don't got to block that low. So that's his high-low potential is limited compared to characters that otherwise would have it. But he doesn't need high-low mix-ups because he has all sorts of left-right mix-ups, right? as shown earlier in the video. Also, he can do solo snapback mix-ups. He doesn't even need an assist for it, right? And in the end, if you want to rate his overall power, when he first came out, I saw a lot of people saying he's weak overall. And while I'm not going to say he's Bardock, he's definitely not the next Kid Goku, right? I think he's got stuff that works. And as of the time of me making this video, there's a lot more stuff coming out every single day, right? There's so much more than what I just showed you here, and I'm sure in the following weeks to come, there'll be a lot more to discover just yet. This dude has the dirt. This dude has the grease. This dude has the mix-ups. Yeah, it's not low-hitting down light, but you don't need that to have mix-up potential, and thanks to how his moves work and all that kind of fun stuff, he's gonna make it work, and he's gonna be one of the greasier characters in the end, to be sure. But in the end, I think Janemba has a lot of potential. It's just a solid all-rounder. He's got the stuff to survive in neutral, to be sure. He's got the buttons to work, and I think he's very well off in that regard. His assist is a bit odd. It's not a lockdown assist, once again. It's a very good combo assist. So I think whoever you're playing with, try to take advantage of that. Because he can make combos happen for people, like Gotenks can make people combos happen for people, right? And that's very rare in this game, so that can definitely help maximize certain combo structures. But yeah, in the end, good all-rounder, good neutral, good like full-screen presence, and above-average kind of tricks and mix-ups. And I think while he's certainly not top tier, he's downright solid. And my friends, that is it for this video, so thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.